able to issue bursaries to our people, but applications have been made. But when we do the budgeting, during the supplementary budget, it has always been the priority of the governor to suspend the bursaries and move the allocations meant for the bursary.
I refer you again to a letter dated 23rd March. We shall help the committee with one document that is properly marked. Again, it's a request for information addressed to Jacqueline Wanjiko Njogu, CEC Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries and Veterinary Services, Kirinyaga County. You are aware of that correspondence?
I'm aware of that correspondence made to the CEC in charge of agriculture.
Chair, point of order. Chair,
yes, Senator Kajwang.
We'll find it extremely difficult to follow because the Assembly is proving its case. It's referring to documents which you don't have. And we cannot make any fair determination if you are not on the same page with the Assembly.
Honorable Senators, you may, for the letters, you may look at the document tagged as undermining the oversight authority of the Assembly. Authority of the Assembly.
Yeah, Chair, can I make an intervention?
Yes.
Chair, the matters that are being raised by Honorable Kajwang are part of what we were raising in the morning. The difficulty, you can imagine if the Senate has a difficulty in following this process, you can imagine the difficulty for the governor to respond to these letters, which you are seeing for the first time now. They are said not to have responded for. You have no opportunity to show that they were responded to. You have no opportunity to show that those things are saying they were not done, they were done, because these letters have come at the last minute. And so we are saying there's abject injustice in pursuing this line of questioning. We have no problem with the production of evidence, but surely the rules of natural justice require that you be given notice. And finally, Chair, the response, the matters we are dealing with is the impeachment motion that was presented to the County Assembly and that was voted on. What we are now discussing now is a new trial before the Senate with new information. We are not sitting on appeal. Instead of dealing with the impeachment motion, we have now moved to new information, new evidence, and that is grossly prejudicial to the governor. And what it is sensationalizing, as opposed to dealing with the evidence that was presented. We have no problem with replying to this evidence, but there surely must be time. Otherwise, it will be very unfair.
Thank you. I think, honorable members, we shall try and navigate through these turbulent waters and get the documents because we are in it and we must finish it. On the issue of them prosecuting a different case, it is their case. They have the liberty on how to prosecute their case, and we shall give them an opportunity to proceed. Proceed, Honorable Councillor Ndegwa.
Thank you. I hope the members are with me on the letter dated 23rd of March 2020. It's a letter addressed to Jacqueline Wanjiko Njogu, CEC Agriculture, Fisheries. Mr. Kinyua, did you get a response of that letter?
Chair, through the chair, I want to confirm that we never got the response.
Were these letters issued in the effort to initiate the oversight role?
Yeah. Chair, if I may comment.
What is it, Honorable Mazaya?
Yes, I do have a letter.
Use your mic.
Yes, it's. I do have a letter dated 22nd of March. But the letter dated 23rd of March is not there, followed by the letter dated, I think, 30th of November. Now I'm at loss. I don't have that particular document the Wakili is trying to refer to. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I think it was just an omission in your file, but the chair has got the letter dated 23rd, addressed to one Miss Jacqueline Wanjiku Njogu. And I think, yes, you'll be served. That's why I said, honorable members, if you have any shortcoming with your file, kindly approach the secretariat. They'll be able to address. Instead of having interjections, I think we shall be disadvantaging the members of the county assembly who are trying to prosecute their case. So could we please just listen them as they prosecute their case without many interruptions?
Headed Chair, allow me to ask the members to move with me to a tag written CPSB, Chair. It's a letter dated 4th of March. There's a tag. It comes from the County Public Service Board. Witness, did you confirm the receipt of this letter? Was this letter received by the County Assembly?
Chair, I want to confirm that the letter was received in the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
Where did the letter originate from?
The letter originated from the chairperson, County Public Service Board of Kirinyaga.
Are you privy to the content of the said letter?
Yes, I'm privy. Through
Yes.
the chairperson committee, the chairperson County Public Service Board was seeking for the intervention of the County Assembly Committee on Public Service on intervention on matters recruitment in the county government of Kirinyaga, whereby the chairperson and his committee were receiving undue influence and coercion from Her Excellency the Governor on whom to recruit, and not in full disregard of merit and qualification.
In that specific letter, who was the subject?
The subject was one Pauline Kamau.
One Pauline Kamau.
Yes.
Was she eventually recruited to that position?
I want to confirm that Pauline was recruited in that position of the Director Administration to the county. And previously, Pauline Kamau was the PA to Her Excellency the Governor. And at the same time, there was an existing Director Administration who was more qualified and who had the letter of appointment. Therefore, there was no vacancy.
You speak to the qualifications of Pauline, yes? Why do you use the word more qualified?
The reason as to why I use the word more qualified is the fact that there is an advisory from the Transition Authority that advises on the qualification for the position of a director who is required to have at least a minimum of an undergraduate degree. And in this case, one Pauline Kamau, from her file, she not even produced a diploma. And in the same case, the advertisement was done for a vacancy that did not exist, so that the recruitment would be done in favor of Pauline Kamau for other interests.
Were you able to act upon the request of the County Public Service Board Chairman?
I want to say that being a member of the Committee on Public Service, we were able to react to it, and we summoned the chairperson to the County Public Service Board. However, the chairperson gave information to confirm that actually there was the coercion.
Honorable members, again move with me to another letter dated 4th December 2017, again from the chairman. Are you conversant of that letter? It is titled Request for Intervention. Yes?
Chair, I am.
What was the content of that letter?
Chair, again, it was on matters coercion from Her Excellency the Governor and giving unnecessary and undue influence to recruitment in the county government of Kirinyaga in favor of the persons of her interest.
I want to move with you to a file that was filed by the governor. It's tender number CGK ICT 0T 046.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome to this live broadcast of the National
It's contained in the files
Proceedings.
filed by the governor.
On your screen is the second gate which faces the KICC, and that is the gate that will be used by the Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuri Yatani to access the precincts of
Ndegwa,
Parliament this
I think the honorable members are unable to follow your presentation because
takes place once
your
a year.
bundle of documents have not been bounded chronologically to help the members look for the document at the correct time. So we are unable actually to follow your presentation. I would maybe make a direction as follows, that wherever you suggest or you bring forth a document, you should bring it to the table of the clerk so that you can share it with members, because we are unable to follow your presentation completely. So is it possible we give you 5 minutes to plan yourself and then we continue? It's possible. Yeah, kindly.
The Poverty Eradication Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 13 of 2020 by the Honorable Member for Sirisia Constituency, Honorable John Waluke Koi, will be read for the first time. The principal object of this bill is to provide for an institutional framework that will promote and manage policies that combat poverty. And later, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuri Yatani will present in Parliament a 3.2 trillion shilling spending for the national and county governments in the 2020-2021 fiscal year starting July 1st. There is a rare footage of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, walking to the chambers.
I want to begin by first and foremost thanking the African Union and all the African nations for their support and their belief in Kenya being able to advocate the African cause, the cause of Pan-Africanism, the cause of peace, the cause of global solidarity, the call to multilateralism. Kenya's story is one that believes and trusts that together we are stronger. One that believes that through democracy, through respect for human life, and through unity, more can be achieved than individually. We thank the African continent for supporting us in our bid. And we thank all our friends across the world who have joined us and supported us. Today is a day for me personally, on my own behalf and on behalf of the government and the people of Kenya, to assure you that a vote for Kenya is a vote for peace. A vote for Kenya is a vote for global solidarity. A vote for Kenya is a vote for multilateralism. A vote for Kenya is that even the smallest voice shall be heard as the largest and most powerful voice. Let's work together. Let's build global harmony. Let's move forward in our march for peace. Let's move forward in our march for the sustainable use of the resources that our continent, our globe, is endowed with. And let's move forward and ensure that no one is left behind.
When President Uhuru Kenyatta thought of a nation, a peaceful nation, a united nation called Kenya, he scored highly to the international community and to Kenyans. When the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga thought of a nation called Kenya, he scored highly. It is that redemption strategy, the coming together of opposition and the government, the president and the former opposition leader, or the opposition leader of Kenya, that has made Kenya peaceful, united, working together to date. It is therefore very important for the people of Kenya to realize that the most important thing that every African looks at when talking about Kenya is peace. But what kills Kenya is tribal enclaves, bad elections, bad electoral mechanisms, bad political morals. People lack political morals. People lack good electoral mechanisms. People think of tribes. It is not the poor, it is not the rich, it is not the destiny, it is not the hustler nation. No. Those have been there for many times, for many years. But what has killed the country is that those one key thing, elections. If Kenya can sort out its electoral mechanism, that a winning candidate embraces a losing candidate, and a losing candidate embraces a winning candidate. You work together as a nation, work together as people of Kenya. That's the day that Kenya will rise and become a very good country, beyond what it is today. But the moment we go back to our tribal enclaves, we poison the politics. We play Machiavellian politics of backstabbing, intrigue, manipulation, machinations that flow in the Kenyan political arena. It's the moment that we destroy the same nation that needs that unity. President Uhuru Kenyatta, therefore, don't give up. Former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, don't give up on unity or purpose. Always strive to unite, leave a legacy of a united Kenya. That is the price you will give to the generations, the grandchildren, to your generations that will come. You might not be there to see the price that you have, the foundation you have laid. But once you leave that legacy of a united, peaceful Kenya, both of you and many other leaders in Kenya should not give up in search for that unity. I thank you very much. Those are my views. I believe a redemption strategy, and I repeat, a redemption strategy, the healing, reconciliation, reparation, accountability, truth-telling, those are the values of the handshake, a united Kenya with capacity to accommodate all. Thank you. Thank you, listeners.
Came from the Ministry of Devolution and related partners to fund development projects in Rongo Township, in Awendo Township, and in Migori Township. Secondly, Madam Speaker, in that statement, the relevant committee should state which projects were implemented under that funding and the status at which they are, or the state of implementation to date. And Madam Speaker, that committee should also explain how much funding is expected regarding these projects, how much additional funding is expected regarding these projects, so that it is clear and it's also known out to all of us. Lastly, Madam Speaker, that committee should also explain when we will have Kihancha Municipal Council, because we had it before devolution, it disappeared, and when will we have that municipal council, so that there is a sharing of funding projects across the entire county of Migori in an equitable manner, so that all communities benefit. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. What's your point of order, Senator Murgome?
I don't know how such a question is treated, Madam Speaker, because I can get from Senator Ochilo Ayako some of the issues relate to national government, but the question of municipality and all that is defined in law, maybe, unless, of course, the committee would investigate and respond to that, particularly when it's a county which has to make that decision. So maybe. Anyway, let me withdraw my point of order. We'll leave it to the committee.
I think you have corrected it, that since it's going to the committee will be able to advise us when it comes. Thank you. Senator Inima Gertrude Musuruve.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to air my views on this statement. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that the outcome should be tangible. The outcome should corroborate the amount of money that has been set aside for a project. Because if money is set aside and at the end of the day, there's no project that can be seen from the money that has been sent, then there was no need of sending money. And I want to say that there's need for a really in-depth oversight of whatever monies that go out to the counties for a project, so that there is a committee that scrutinizes, to see that money that is, is sent out to the counties is used for the purpose that is intended for the sake of ensuring service delivery for Wananchi. Honorable Speaker, thank you. I support this statement, and it should go to the right committee that should actually go there physically and see that the amount of money that was sent corroborates with whatever that is tangible in the area. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. For avoidance of doubt, Senators, the first statement requested by Senator Ochilo Ayako stands committed to the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. And the second statement, which we have just dealt with, stands committed to the Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations concerning the status of project funding. The next statement is by the Senator of Taita Taveta, Senator Jones Mwaruma.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me, Madam Speaker, because I have 3 statements, to go through all of them at once. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 481 to seek a statement from the Ad Hoc Committee on the COVID-19 situation in Kenya concerning usage of funds by the Taita Taveta County Government to manage the COVID-19 pandemic. In the statement, Madam Speaker, the committee should, 1, table in the Senate an itemized budget of the Taita Taveta County Government for the fight against COVID-19 pandemic in the county, indicating the source of the funds, given that some funds are coming from the county and some are coming from the national government COVID response team. Number 2, provide documentation relating to the tendering process, including the actual dates and the list of beneficiaries of such tenders. 3, provide a list of all the suppliers indicating the directors and the addressees of the respective companies contracted, services rendered, and amount paid. And 4, state the number of beds isolated in readiness for admission of COVID-19 patients in the county, indicating their location. Second statement, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senator, I would rather we clear that one so that we move to the next statement. And I see in name Gertrude Musuruve, I'll be wanting the chair of the Committee on COVID to say something, because I think this morning, Senators, he made a very generous offer, to the extent that you may want your question to be answered right in Taita Taveta, because if they are open to visit your county, you may wish to, but I'm not trying to direct how he's going to answer that. Senator Inima Gertrude Musuruve.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And I would like to comment on this statement by Senator Mwaruma. And it's indeed a very important statement that really needs to be thought through. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that since COVID-19 started and since intervention has been done in the counties, it is really painful that you'll find that sometimes items are procured, even items that can be done by local communities, like making masks. You'll find that they're procured even outside of the county. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that if we want to really ensure that communities are engaging with COVID and raising awareness, we need to bring communities also on board, so that when it comes to even procuring these items, let them also procure what they're able to make. I have seen quite a number of people, and sometimes even persons with disabilities, making masks, but they have no one to sell to. But this is an opportunity when we need to see how to buy Kenya. When we buy Kenya, we also support Kenya. But sometimes we import even things that we are able to make as Kenyans. So there's need for counties to really ensure that they're giving an opportunity to youths. They're giving an opportunity to women with women. They're giving an opportunities also to persons with disabilities who are able to give these services, and even when they give the services, then they should be paid promptly, Honorable Speaker. In whatever we do, if we want to be successful, we must involve the common man. Because if we involve the common man, then the common man will run the agenda that we want to be run, and eventually we'll be successful as a country. So I want to support this statement by Honorable Mwaruma, and I want to say that the committee should actually investigate, so that what you're able to do as Kenyans, let us buy Kenya, let us promote Kenya. What you're not able to, then that is when we can decide to import, or we can decide to hire. And even when grants are given, let the grants also be distributed equitably, so that women are also involved, persons with disabilities are also involved, and also youths are involved, so that during this COVID period, people are not just idle. There's some people who are so idle out there, they don't know what to do, and yet they have talent. Let us tap, let us nurture the talents of Kenyans. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Lekina Ladama.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this statement. But all this goes back to the first issue that we discussed this afternoon, the issue of accountability. When I read this statement by Senator Mwaruma, in between the lines, there's a lot of things which are hidden. Because when I hear the Senator is asking for the COVID-19 chairperson to provide the list of suppliers, indicate the directors and their addresses of the respective companies, he came short of asking for a CR12, so that we know who is using this money. There's money, Kenyans, that we should not really even touch. When people are dying, when we are given loans, we are given grants for money to help our people, others are using it to line their pockets. So, Madam Speaker, this is a very interesting statement. And I wonder whether it should only be limited to looking at the money which has been budgeted by county governments, but by the entire COVID pandemic fund. There's a lot of money. Most of us have been asking questions and saying, where is this money? We're not seeing these billions going in to support poor people. Madam Speaker, today I read somewhere that the CS, whom I respect very well, Mutai Kagwe, has said he'll dismantle the cartels in Afi House. One thing that really pains me is that even the masks which were donated to us by Jack Ma, they were stolen. You know, so Senator Sakaja, you have a lot of work. But I wonder whether by us looking for the CR12 alone will help. I wish that maybe after we have this statement, it doesn't end there. Then maybe Senator Mwaruma can be able to follow through. Maybe whatever the names you get, chairperson, you send them to ESCC or to the DPP. Because if these things are not going to the counties, where are they going? You know, we are joking around. That's why sometimes some of us used to say there's really no COVID. It's just a scheme of people getting money. So really, if money has been sent to a county government, or if money has been donated by Kenyans or other well-wishers around the world to help people stay healthy, it is evil when someone mismanages that money. So, Madam Speaker, I support this, and I hope that the good chairman, the distinguished senator of the people of Nairobi, will not answer us this afternoon. He needs to go down. We don't want an answer this afternoon. Let him go down there. Let him follow. You know? And I'm sure all of us will be very happy to get the responses from Taita Taveta, because then we can look at our counties as well. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Mbogo George Ochila.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the issue here is one that must be taken seriously. Madam Speaker, a lot of money is being devolved ostensibly to fight COVID. COVID may be an excuse to misuse this money, to misappropriate this money. So I want to support the concerns raised by Senator Mwaruma that there is a need to cause county governments who have been given money to fight COVID to show how they are doing it, with whom they are doing it, and the processes that have been put in place. More importantly, Madam Speaker, the committee to which this matter is being referred to should tell the House, because every county that is represented here is exposed to the same risks, to tell the House, to tell every member of this House that these are the systems that have been put in place to ensure that public funds raised from citizens, raised from national treasury or county treasury, is not susceptible to being looted, to being stolen. So I want the committee to which this matter will be referred to come up with an explanation, with an indication that there are systems in place to ensure that these millions and billions of shillings that go to counties to fight COVID is not exposed to people who are likely to misuse and abuse it, and perhaps fail to achieve the objective and the intention for which this money was released. Otherwise, this is a very good statement that is worthy of support, and I do support and congratulate Senator Mwaruma for raising these concerns.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed Faki.
Asante Bispika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia arifa iliyoombwa na Senator Taita Taveta kuhusiana na fedha zinazotolewa kwa masala ya kupambana na corona. Mheshimiwa Spika, wiki mbili zilizopita tulibahatika pamoja na kamati ya COVID kusafiri kwenda Isiolo, ambako ilikuwa ni kuangalia vipi wamejitayarisha kupambana na janga la corona. Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo la kusikitisha ni kwamba hata ofisi ya gavana ilikuwa haina fursa au haina nafasi ya kuweza kutupokea sisi kama maseneta ambao tumekwenda hususan kuangalia ile miradi ya county kuhusiana na masuala ya corona. Mheshimiwa Spika, tulipelekwa katika police pavilion ambayo ndugu yetu Senator Linturi alikuwa akitembelea zamani wakati alipokuwa kijana akijivinjari. Hapo ndio tuliweka kuzungumzia masuala ya muhimu ya corona. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, huo ni mfano wa kaunti moja tu ambayo tulizuru sisi kama kamati. Na inamaanisha kwamba mambo mengi ambayo tunaona katika vyombo vya habari kwamba vifaa vinanunuliwa, wananchi wanapewa barakoa, zote hizi ni vitu za onyesha tu, lakini kwa ukweli hakuna jambo lolote linatendeka. Mheshimiwa Spika, tuliweza kuzuru hiyo ICU Mheshimiwa Spika, na tukaoneshwa vitanda ambavyo vyasemekana vimenunuliwa vipya. Vyasemekana vingine ni automatic, ukibofya kinainuka. Daktari mmoja alibofya karibu mara 6, kitanda hakienuki Mheshimiwa Spika. Na sisi tuwaona pale pale. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, ufujaji wa pesa ni jambo ambalo liko wazi. Jana maafisa wa KMPDU walikuwa walalamika kwamba kaunti 5 hazijalipa mishahara ya madaktari pamoja na wahudumu wa afya wakati huu ambapo tunapambana na corona. Vipi tutaweza kupambana na corona ikiwa wafanyakazi hawalipi mishahara Mheshimiwa Spika? Mfanyakazi daktari anafanya kazi katika hali ambayo ni ngumu, anajihatarisha maisha yake na maisha ya familia yake, kwa sababu wengi akipewa kwa mfano ni barakoa, anapewa barakoa moja, hiyo ndio ende nayo nyumbani jioni, kesho asubuhi ndio anapewa ya pili Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, hili ni swala ambalo ni lazima kamati hii iweze kuingia barabarani tena kuhakikisha kwamba pesa hazifuji. Tukisubiri mpaka baada ya miaka 2 tuje tusome Public Accounts Committee, Mheshimiwa Spika, itakuwa ni hasara wa Kenya wamepata. Asante kwa kunipa fursa hii.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Masitsa Naomi Shiongo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute on the statement. Madam Speaker, this morning we had a lot of input or a lot of feedback on the COVID-19 report, on the question that had earlier been raised. But notwithstanding, this one also raises some eyebrows when we find out that there's a lot of money that Kenya has gotten from grants and donations. But to start with, it is that already we have started stealing what belongs to our people and especially in the area of COVID. Already the Chakma issues is already there. They have already started stealing. There is already corruption. And I'm just wondering, as a senator, we do not even have funds to start following up this. But Senator Mwaruma has brought up very good issues about the budget, about documentation of tendering, whereby so much of corruption comes with tendering. The supplies. And I am very proud because the CS pointed out that Afia House is a rotten house. And a few individuals there, they already know they came. And they are eyeing on COVID money. And if not COVID money, they already know how to go about with the formula. Let it sound as a warning that COVID money will not just be money like other money. It is the money for the sick. And anybody who steals money from the sick, then you are a sick. You are never a normal person. And you can never be a normal person to steal money from a sick person. And of course, COVID, we do not know if we are going to be treated or if the treatment will be there. And Madam Speaker, I'm so annoyed when I stand here and I hear that we have a lot of money going to the counties. Counties that are not even prepared to handle this money. Counties that are not even prepared to host even the patients. You see how we are jumping from one system to another. We want to admit that Kenya we have system, but the systems in the health sector have totally failed us. Madam Speaker, tendering in our institutions, they are relative related. They are friends related. And if we do not look at this issue of COVID, with the thousands of money that we are going to pour in, many are salivating. People are already ready to take it. And I'm saying this because you can hear from the committee that was going around what they had, what they have witnessed. And people cannot just be getting rich in Kenya, even with money that will kill their generation. Let them be afraid, if not getting fired. I'm speaking this with a lot of bitterness because if they don't give us what belongs to Kenya, then let them surrender Kenya. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Murkomen, Onesmus Kipchumba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This afternoon, I would like to rise to comment on this statement that has been brought by Senator Mwaruma, which is really a very important statement for all the counties and the country. First of all, Madam Speaker, the pandemic that is COVID-19, has come at a time that it has actually affected all sectors of the economy. It has affected our social lives. It has affected our religious lives. It has affected every sector and every county. But, Madam Speaker, as a matter of fact, there is a
I want to begin by first and foremost thanking the African Union and all the African nations for their support and their belief in Kenya being able to advocate the African cause, the cause of Pan-Africanism, the cause of peace, the cause of global solidarity, the call to multilateralism. Kenya's story is one that believes and trusts that together we are stronger. One that believes that through democracy, through respect for human life.
So through the chair, actually the measures by the Ministry of Health had not been lifted, but making reference to the court order, we were given a leeway as a county assembly to determine whether we are actually abiding to the measures given by the Ministry of Health, to which chair we actually maintain the social distance, we actually provided sanitation center, washing hands centers, all those were provided. And actually, chair, the council went to court to challenge the same, that we are contemptuous of the court decision. And it was ruled in our favor. Therefore, chair, in line with that, I want to say that the court order did not deter the County Assembly of Kirinyaga from prosecuting the motion.
Honorable Chair, I think the reason why I'm asking that he abides by my request on how I want questions answered is also to save on my 25 minutes. If it takes 10 minutes on one answer, it means I will not have done justice for my client. So I will insist that he just answers. If there's anything, his counsel will have a right of re-examination to affirm some of his questions so that he can save on my time.
I wouldn't want to limit him to a yes or no answer. I will just advise him to be brief in his response.
So through the chair, I seek your
So I'll proceed. Honorable Kinyua, please let us not waste time. The next question, the question I wanted to ask, and I just want you to focus on that question. At the time when you moved the motion, was there a directive that dealt with essential services from the national government?
The directive was in force.
Was in force. Thank you very much. Now, the operations of the Kirinyaga County government, were they affected in any way by that directive?
Chair, I want to say by then the operations were back to normal. Therefore, they were affected for a short while, then they resumed to normalcy.
So you are telling this honorable committee that from 30th of March until now, all the employees of Kirinyaga County have been reporting to work daily?
The best of my knowledge.
Or you don't know?
The best of my knowledge, they are.
Okay. Then I will move to the next question. When the court suspended or rather issued a conservatory order concerning the impeachment, there are directions it gave. The first direction was that you must not prevent the public from participating in the process. Am I right in saying that? Or do I have to read the ruling for you?
No.
I will reframe my question. When the court stated, and I'll read it for you, the impeachment of a governor is not a closed-door affair. Where an impeachment motion is successful, it does not only affect the governor, but also prejudices political rights, Article 38 of the Constitution, of the people who voted for the governor. The public must be involved in such a process through qualitative and quantitative participation. What did you understand by that?
That public participation must be done. However, it must not be done directly. It can also be done indirectly.
So in this particular case, it was done indirectly?
It was done indirectly without full exposure of
Thank you very much.
Kirinyaga to COVID-19.
Thank you very much. What does the County Government Act state concerning how public participation should be undertaken? I know you're familiar with the legislation that governs how your operations are done.
I will not go to the county government, but the rules that govern our public participation as Kirinyaga County Assembly.
Let us focus on I'm very specific on the County Governments Act. I think I'll give you a copy of this so that you can read. I'll direct you to the section. Okay, don't worry. I just want you to read section 91 of the County Governments Act. Internalize, and I think you can summarize it in one sentence. Does Section 91 of the County Government Act provide the modalities and platforms for citizen participation in the business?
It actually provides.
Can you name some of them, please? Just read. Name some of them from there.
Information technology-based platforms.
Yes.
You can have town hall meetings. And in fact, in our case, we adopted...
Continue with what you're reading. What are the things?
Budget preparation and validation for us. Notice board announcing jobs, appointment, procurement, next development project sites, and F, avenues of public participation, people representatives included but not limited to members of the National Assembly and Senate, establishment of citizen fora at county and decentralized unit.
Thank you very much. Now the question I want to just ask you is very simple. In the motion that you filed before this Senate, have you attached any documents to show how you complied with that requirement of the law?
In the first instance, there is no attachment, but actually, as for the procedure.
Thank you very much.
After doing the motion, you facilitate the process of public participation.
Thank you very much. In the statements that you have filed as witness statements for all your 4 witnesses, has any witness alluded to what was done to comply with the issue of public participation? Yes or no?
I want to confirm on my case, yes.
In your case, yes. Can you take me to the paragraph, please? Remembering you have just told this Honorable Senate that it was through indirect participation.
Through the chair, I want to withdraw the statement that it is actually in my statement and actually say that the information can be furnished to confirm that we did public participation.
Thank you very much for confirming that. The next question I want to ask is very simple. When was the decision made to have the hearing for the motion to remove the governor by way of impeachment?
Actually, by the time we submitted the motion to the county assembly.
I've not asked that. For the decision to be made that you're coming on this particular date to vote. Okay, when was the vote made?
June 2020.
8th of June 2020. When was the decision to call the governor for that hearing communicated to her?
It was actually the decision and the communication was done on 9th.
On 9th. So the communication to the governor?
Sorry, made on 7th, sorry.
So the communication to the governor was made on 7th?
Yes.
Now, do you have any evidence in the motion that you have filed to indicate the day when she was served with those summons telling her to come before the committee on 8th?
The information can be provided.
I've not asked that. In your motion, is there anything to confirm that this is the day she was served with those summons?
through the chair, I want to say that the confirmation or the question of what I should be put to task is the fact whether the governor was furnished with the information or not.
The question I've asked you, focus on my questions, not the questions you want to ask yourself. The question I'm asking you, do you have any evidence in your motion indicating that the governor was served with the summons on 7th, requiring her to come on 8th, or she was served on 8th, requiring her to come on another day?
The governor was served with a notice on 7th.
Do you have evidence of that in your motion?
The notice can be availed.
So you don't have it in your motion. Thank you very much. Now, I want you to take a copy of the motion. I'd ask your advocate to give it to you.
I have it with me.
And I want us to go step by step. The first violation you've talked about is the one that relates to this annual state of the county address.
Yes.
You are a legislator by virtue of being in the county assembly, yes. So you understand the laws that govern your business. So yes, I want to just ask a very simple question. Can you direct us to the provision in the Constitution? Because you've called it a gross violation of the Constitution. The provision of the Constitution that mandates the governor to appear before the county assembly to deliver that address.
Through the chair, I want to say that the County Government Act is an enabling act to the Constitution of Kenya. And it's the Constitution that required that the National Assembly assent to a bill that will enable the formation of the county government. And it's from that we borrow from the County Government Act, Section 8, Section 30, which requires the governor to address the county assembly.
Please,
annually.
I would want you to read that provision because it is very... So for the Constitution, there is no direct provision in the Constitution. Are you confirming that?
You cannot detach the county government act from the Constitution.
The Constitution itself, does it have an express provision before we move to the County Governments Act?
Chair, I want to remain with my position.
Thank you. I will accept your answer that there is no provision in the Constitution. Now can we move to the County Governments Act? That's Section 32K. I want you to just read to the Senate, because it's a very short sentence.
Actually, it's 30. It's 1K. And one says the governor shall take and subscribe the oath of affirmation as set out in the schedule. This
we are focusing on section 32K, 30 subsection 2K, because that is what is on your motion.
Good.
So please focus on what I've told you.
That's why I am. But remember, it's 32K.
Yes, that's what I've asked you. Just read it to us. What does 30?
Subject to the Constitution, the governor shall.
Okay.
K. Deliver annual state of the county address containing such matters as may be specified in county registrations.
Thank you very much. Now the question I want to ask you, does that provision mention county assembly? From what you have read, does it mention county assembly?
It actually doesn't mention the county assembly.
Thank you very much. Now, when the governor in her response indicates that she gave the address at the public hospital, do you have anything to support your position in terms of evidence that that was in violation of any law?
The state of the county address, you can't do it in a conference or in a public rally. It's actually supposed to be done where the executors the implementer of that address are available. We as the county assembly, we are not invited to that address. And actually, if we borrow from what happens in the National Assembly, all those addresses are discussed by the National Assembly. In our case, even the statement itself, we did not receive.
Thank you for confirming that you don't have a legal provision for that. Now, I want us to move to the valuations of a tender. The Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. You've mentioned quite a number, but I will cut across all of them with simple questions so that we can save on time. The first question, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act is very clear. Any person who is aggrieved by the decision of the tender committee of a procuring entity has a right to seek a review with the review board of the procurement under the Procurement Act. Do you have any decisions of the review board or of any court of law by any aggrieved party that support your position that tenders were made out of conflict of interest, nepotism, and any criminal enterprise? Or on the basis that there are people whose tenders were more responsive than others, but they did not get the tender? Do you have any such decisions from the review board, which is mandated under the law to make such a determination, or a court of law that is empowered to make such a decision in the event of an appeal?
I want to say that the county assembly is an oversighter.
I've just asked you concerning this. Do you have the body that is authorized to make that decision under the law? Do you have a decision from that review board authorized under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, or by virtue of any court of law that is pursuant to an appeal under this act? Do you have any decision?
Through the chair, I want to say that we are privy to PPRA report on matters, some of those tender, a report that can be tabled, and the executive can actually confirm that they have such a communique from the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority questioning some of these tenders that are in this motion.
Thank you for volunteering that information. Can you show us a copy of that report, please? In the volume that you are holding, and in the volumes that we are holding, please.
Council? Council, can I have the letter?
The letter from the
PPRA letter.
PPRA letter. The next question I wanted to ask, you've severally on the issues of the tenders, you've talked about the governor being in charge of a criminal enterprise that is intended to defraud the county. The question I want to ask you, in your motion, do you have any evidence showing that she received any money from any beneficiaries of these tenders?
Tendering process.
Do you have evidence showing that she received any money?
Tendering process is being manipulated.
No, the word you have used is criminal enterprise.
Yes, and I want
and
to
and it's corruption. And you've talked about corruption because of the purpose of trying to defraud the county of funds. And I'm asking, do you have evidence in your motion showing the governor receiving any money from these successful bidders?
I want to say that I want to prove that her hand was actually in this tendering process, and the onus is on her head to actually prove that she was not.
Thank you for confirming that you don't have that evidence. Now, I want to move straight to the issue of Pauline, Kamau, and Gishira Wayne.
Proceed.
Just before you move on to that, I think considering the gravity of this matter, we had allocated cross-examination for 25 minutes, and since this is the main witness, we have reconsidered that position. We shall add you 15 more minutes, and then for re-examination, we shall also add you a further 15 minutes so that we deal with this matter in a more detail.
Much obliged, Honorable Chair. I'll humbly request if I can just be warned when I finish the 25 so that my learned colleague can address a particular portion, please.
I had earlier indicated that you look at the signals, the light signals.
Much obliged.
These lights signifies 15 more minutes remaining. This light signifies 5 more minutes, and this light signifies that your time has lapsed.
Thank you very much.
Stand guided.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, concerning the issue of Gishira, I want to ask.
In total, you have 20 minutes. 5 that you had remained with, plus the 15 that you've added.
Much obliged. The question I wanted to ask is concerning Gishira. Which body is mandated to employ public service employees for Kirinyaga County? Under the Act?
The County Public Service Board.
Now, under the County Governments Act, who has the power to fire or exercise disciplinary action against members of that board? Is it the governor or is it the county assembly?
It is actually the county assembly.
So the governor cannot threaten them because she cannot fire them. Isn't that a fact?
It is a fact.
Thank you very much. So the question I want to ask, you indicated that there's a letter that you received from the board indicating that they are under pressure to hire the lady called Pauline Kamau. And that was in the year 2018. How many years ago was that?
That is actually 2 years.
2 years ago. Was Pauline employed?
She was actually employed.
So the question I want to ask you, as a body that was approached by this board, what action did you take to prevent her employment if she was not qualified for the position?
Article 179 of the Constitution confers the Chief Executive Officer authority to the governor, meaning she is in charge of both administrative and the executive powers in the county. And being the person who appoints the members of the County Public Service Board and bring them to the assembly for approval. Therefore, she remains their boss.
I want you to read the last paragraph of that letter that was written to you. The letter from the CD. Yes. Okay, I'm stopping. Yeah? The last paragraph of that letter. What does it say? Please read it to the Senate.
If you don't act fast to stop this by invoking your supervisory role, the board will be left with no choice but to issue the said Pauline Kamau with an appointment letter.
Did you do anything as a committee? That's what I'm asking.
Council, use your microphone.
I'm sorry. Is there any evidence in your motion of any action you took? In your motion?
I want to confirm that the report can be availed that the committee acted on that letter.
I've asked you, in your motion, is there evidence of any action? Thank you for confirming that there is no such evidence. Now, the thing I want to ask, I want to refer now to the case of... Okay, let's continue. I want to ask, I want you to look at the file for
With an I or without
there's no
an I?
There's no I. Veloct, I think. Okay. I want you to look at the certificate of incorporation that appears at the top. Huh?
Yes.
What is the name appearing for that company?
It is appearing as Verocti.
Now, so when you say velocity, and in your evidence you kept on saying that you were given letters by the county, some saying velocity, others saying velocity. Can you show us in your motion evidence of those letters? Do you have those letters in your evidence? In your motion? Do you have evidence?
Chair, I want to produce an evidence in that.
I'm asking from your motion. Do you have any evidence in your motion to support the statement you said on oath that you have received letters from the county government, some calling this entity as Velocity, others calling it as Velocity? Do you have that evidence? That's what I'm asking you. In your motion.
In the documents provided.
In the motion you filed, do you have it?
In the report we filed, the document provided for us. You can actually realize there are two contracts, one for Velocity and the other one for Velocity. And in fact, I would want to go ahead, Chair, through the Chair, I would want to go ahead and produce in this document that was provided by the government.
I think I want you to focus.
Chair, there is one contract for Velocity and the other one for Velocity.
The question I want to ask you, me, I'm focusing on your motion.
But Chairs, we cannot run away from the facts.
I think we shall allow him to answer you comprehensively, because we also need to give him time to answer you comprehensively on the questions you are raising, Council. So, Honorable MCA, you are allowed to make that presentation. But consider you're eating up into Honorable Waiguru's time, so you rather first hasten your response.
Please refer the committee to the particular contract that is signed that has got those names that you're talking about.
The two agreements for it.
Now, the other question I wanted to ask.
The first one. Chair, I'm already in one of the documents that they are provided. One is the contract for provision of consultancy services for design. If you look at the second page, Chair, this agreement made on 4th day of May 2018 between the county government of Kirinyaga, PO Box 260 Kutus, located at the county headquarters Kutus, herein called the employer. On the one hand, and Velocity Partners Limited, VEROCITY, Chair. Does it show? You proceed, you realize in the same document, Chair, document provided by the council, the signature and the stamp is for Velocity. Chair, why wouldn't I say that there is confusion in such a scenario?
I want you to go to the execution page of that agreement. What name appears on the execution page for that company?
It's Velocity Partners.
What stamp have they used for their company?
It's Velocity Partners.
When you go to the cover of that agreement, what name appears?
Velocity Partners.
Thank you very much. Now,
Chair, it needs to be noted that there is a point the council is running away, that there is confusion, like I said, in the document. One agreement indicates Velocity and the other agreement indicate Velocity.
Well noted. You may proceed.
So now the question I wanted to ask next is that you talked about the governor taking interest and allowances and not traveling.
True.
Do you have any evidence? Okay, no problem.
Chairman, I think with your permission, I'd like to assist my colleagues so that we can move quickly. In your statement, in the motion, you give evidence, you allege that 50 million shillings was paid against a contract of 27 million shillings. Yeah? 30 million shillings was paid against a contract of 27 million shillings.
Yes, proceed.
Just open for me. Your motion alleges how much money was paid by the county government to Velocity Partners.
True.
How much does it say was paid?
In my motion, I indicate 50 million.
And what do you indicate the contract was for?
Actually, Chair, like I've put previously, there is veracity and veracity.
No, okay.
The contract were two contracts. Chair, if you are to read those documents keenly, one was invitation of consultancy services, and the other tender, Chair, was provision of service itself.
So you acknowledge there are two contracts?
There are two contracts.
So it is not one contract for 27 million?
To the same company, Chair.
Okay, so there are two contracts paid for provision of separate services to the same company, but not one company which was overpaid.
It's actually one company paid for two contracts.
But so there is no overpayment because the two contracts, what are the amounts of both contracts in total?
Chair, previously I alluded to a report from the PPRA. And Chair, if you can take your time to study this report, this is one of the tender that PPRA questioned, the manner in which it was prosecuted, then the manner in which it was paid. Actually, Chair, from the information, the tender was meant for four facilities we have in Kirinyaga, but it was narrowed down to two facilities. Chair, the actual sum was 27 million for one of the tender. And they narrowed down to two facilities. And at the end of the day, the total amount is 27 million that was paid for two facilities, but the contract was for four facilities, Chair.
Okay. Now, Bwana MC, you know you're before the equivalent of a court of law. And you know there are consequences to telling things that are untrue. Mr. David, you acknowledge even in your statement, the statement you wrote later, you actually talk about two contracts, two separate contracts.
I actually talk of two separate contracts.
So do you now wish to withdraw your allegation in your motion that there was only one contract?
Chair, withdraw in the name of the company that was doing the work is one company that was paid 50 million. The withdrawal is that it is not one contract.
Thank you.
It is two contracts.
The next question I wanted to ask. Relates to the travel allowances.
Proceed.
You say that the governor appropriated for her personal benefit, those are your words, 10,634,614, and did not travel. The question I want to ask you, in your motion, do you have any evidence, not my documents, in the documents you lodged before the Senate as a complainant, do you have any documents to support your allegation that she did not travel?
The document provided is actually that she was paid. Form of can be produced in form of document individual.
Now, do you have any witness in your statements that have been produced who has been able to confirm authoritatively that she did not travel?
Chair, I want to confirm that one of the witnesses who will appear in the floor of this house will actually confirm the same.
Can you indicate from the witness statements that have been filed by the witness who has talked about the issue of travel? If you do not know, just say.
Chair, I haven't looked at the statement of the other witnesses, but one of the witnesses will attest to the same.
Now, the other question I wanted to ask is on the issue of KIDA.
Proceed.
Who legislated the act, who passed the legislation that led to the creation of KIDA?
Actually, the legislative authority of the county is on Kirinyaga County Assembly, and we registered.
You're the ones who passed that legislation?
Yes.
In that legislation, did you...
the travel interest, there are 4 interests which are fake. You must ask him. Payment is the evidence of payment. I need to focus on that first because of our sensitive.
On KIDA, did the legislation you pass indicate that these board members had to be paid some salaries?
Of course, you engage an officer, you have to pay him or her.
Now, the Constitution, does the Constitution prohibit servitude or forced labor where people work and are not paid?
It prohibits.
Now, having passed that legislation and also complying with the Constitution, was it proper for people to assume public office and not be paid?
It is proper. However, I want to state this.
Is it proper or improper?
It is proper to have officers in the employed, but there must be a budgetary provision for their salary. And number two, we very well know in the Constitution there is the Salary and Remuneration Commission, which must provide for the guidelines on the salaries and the salary scale for state officers and public officers.
I will ask your advocate to give you the file for KIDA. Are you aware that there is a letter that was issued by SRA giving guidelines?
For board members, but not for the staff of the board.
Is the complaint in your motion, isn't it about board members?
The complaint is about the composition of the board itself, and the board, remember, a board cannot work in isolation. It must have staffers.
I want you to read your motion, because I don't want us to waste this Honorable Committee's time playing games. I want you to go to page 14 of your motion.
And Chair, I seek your protection on a statement that demeanor and arrogance. Chair, I'm not wasting any time.
Focus on the questions I've asked you, please. Clause 5. Oh, sorry. Clause 4 on page 14 of that motion. So, have you distinguished between board members and employees? At paragraph 4 of your motion, at page 14.
Chair, I talk about the members of the board.
Thank you very much. Now, the question I want to ask you, considering that SRC had already issued guidelines on that specific issue in 2014, was there any justification for including this complaint in your motion?
Chair, I want to confirm that my intention actually was to cover the whole board, not the board members. The board cannot work on its own, it must work with the staffs.
So you are aware, at the time when you lodged your complaint, you are aware that SRC had already given guidelines for the board members?
Chair, the evidence I gave in line with this motion is a letter from the County Public Service Board members, or the board, actually protesting against the of the staff of the board in the payroll against SRC advisory, which has not been sought up to date.
Okay, Chair, because the documents for SRC are in your records, I don't think we need to rehash the point. I want to take you to the travel imprests, which I think are in your motion. Are they with you? Because I want to ask you specific questions. All right. There is a payment you allege made on the 30th of June 2019 amounting to 2,600,297. You have that figure?
Yes.
Do you have any evidence, whether in by way of deposit in the governor's bank account or through the IFMI system, in your records that those amounts were paid?
Chair, I want to confirm that actually this is an amount of money that was paid to Her Excellency.
No, I'm not asking you that. You have already said. I'm asking you whether you have evidence.
Allow me to proceed and say that the evidence will be produced by one of the witnesses that the County Assembly sought the Senate to invite to this House, because, Chair, we have been seeking for this information and the executive has failed to produce this information because this was paid as interest to one of the officers in the governor's office, and the officer paid the money to the governor herself.
So what you are saying is that at the point at which you made this statement, you had no evidence. You'll get it from this officer.
The evidence will be produced by the officer.
Did you have the evidence? Did you have the evidence? Because if you had the evidence, you would produce it. Did you have the evidence? At the time at which you went and said the governor has taken this money, did you have the evidence?
Chair, the IFMIS extract attached to our files.
Show us the IFMIS extract with that figure, please. I'll allow your counsel to do that. And I can give you two others, so that as they're looking for, they can give you two others. There's a payment made on the 8th of January 2020 for 943,700. There's a payment on the 25th of February 2020 for 1,125,440. Can you provide the evidence that made you go and say a payment was made? You even indicated the bank account in your motion. You indicated the bank account where the money was paid. Show us the evidence that you had to make that allegation.
Chair, I proceed again, and I would want to say that one of the witnesses that will appear on the floor of this Senate will actually provide evidence, because actually she was one of the officers who accompanied the governor, and they arrived at the airport, Chair.
Finally, you are aware of the trip that you have indicated, number... No, no. Italy. Yes, the payment, the travel number 1 of June 2018. Italy, it's written Italy Coffee and Rice Harvesters in our motion, but it's June 2018. Are you aware that was a trip to the country of Italy?
Yes.
Are you aware that your leader of majority was in Italy and photographed with the governor?
Chair, I'm not aware, and I want to confirm that the leader of majority was not paid any money from the county
that
assembly,
is not the issue. You said
nor
she did
the
not
county
travel.
assembly to accompany the governor.
Bonakinyo, I'm asking, you said she did not travel. You are saying you're not aware, even though there were photographs, there was a statement issued by both your colleague in the assembly in Italy. So at the time you are saying she did not travel, were you aware of that, or you are just not aware?
Chair, I want to confirm that the leader of majority is with us, and he can confirm whether he attended or not, Chair.
All right. Now, have you gotten the payments, the receipt of payments that you used to make this motion to say that the governor was not paid? Are they there, Council? Are you able to provide? From your bundle? Yeah, that the governor was paid and did not travel.
Chair, what you've done is that we have called this witness because of the difficulty of procuring these documents which they are in the custody. We have summoned, and the Senate has summoned the Chief Officer Finance. That is why the witness is saying there is a witness who will testify to that. Remember, Chair, these documents are always in the custody of the governor's office.
Council should be winding up because your time is up.
All right, thank you. Are you aware?
One more minute.
Okay. Are you aware, Bwana Kinyua, that in the 2 trips that the governor did not visit, did not travel, her responsibility is to repay the money back to the county?
I'm aware.
And are you aware that those monies were repaid?
Chair, the money may be paid, but the question is when. And how can you accrue personal benefit in terms of foreign travel allowances the first time, the second time, the third time without making the reimbursement, Chair?
Bwana Kinyo, do you understand how the process of imprest works?
I understand very well.
So you know that you actually collect money. If you don't use it, you reimburse, you refund it?
Within a stipulated timeline.
Okay, and from where you see it, the governor has never refunded that money?
She has refunded some, actually, after this motion was tabled, Chair. And in fact, one of the receipts that is provided here, reimbursement was done on 17th of this month. Why are that? Therefore, translate, if there was no such a motion, the intention was to defraud the residents of Kirinyaga their funds.
All right, Bwana Kinyua, you recognize that those trips were cancelled in January and February. So a reimbursement surely in April cannot be an intention to defraud for interest.
Chair, if the council can assist me, make reference. There is a stipulated period within which, if you are given interest, you must account for it and do the investment.
Thank you. I think
thank you. No further questions.
Yeah, your time is up. So I will allow the council representing the county assembly to do re-examination. Initially, I had allocated him 5 minutes. but I will add him a further 15 minutes, and I'll also be flexible with the way I've been with the council representing Honorable Anne Waiguru. So if you see me flexible with him, don't be offended. We will want to be as fair as possible so that we get a just a ruling for this matter.
Chairman.
Thank you, Chair.
Chairman, perhaps before my colleague starts, our apologies for overrunning the time that you had very kindly allocated us for the cross-examination of this important witness. Chairman, there is a clarification which really needs to come from the horse's mouth, which I want to ask, and I can conclude within 60 seconds. So, Chair, I seek your indulgence to just put that point to this witness.
Chair, we have a serious objection to the position my senior is taking, because they have actually yielded the witness for re-examination. Procedurally, even from the law of evidence, and my senior bears me witness, having practiced law many years than I have, that once the witness has been yielded for re-examination, you cannot reopen cross-examination. He's trying to open a cross-examination. The witness has been yielded to us.
Chairman, I don't know what my learned friend is afraid of. He was the one who put it on record in the morning that we're truth-seeking. And my little point is very important for this committee's desire to find the truth.
I think I have ceded a lot of ground for the council representing Honorable Waiguru, and I wouldn't grant you that opportunity. You will maybe use other available opportunity for your team to raise the issue. As for now, your request has been denied.
That is well noted. Thank you very much, Chair.
Mr. Kenyo, kindly go with me to the County Government Act, Section 30, the one that requires the governor to issue an annual address, correct? Are you there with me?
I'm there.
Kindly read it out.
The functions and responsibility of the county governor. It actually says, number 2, subject to the constitution, the governor shall, you go to K, deliver annual state of the county address containing such matters as may be specified in county legislation.
So it is your evidence that the procedure for where and how and when the governor must address the county assembly is not domiciled within that act, but in a county legislation, correct?
Chair, I want to confirm the same, and like I did put it across in my previous submission, is the fact that borrowing from the history of all the parliaments, the tradition is the governor and even the president addresses the legislator in the precincts of the assemblies. And in this case, the allusion that the address was done elsewhere, I'm not informed, and a communication is done to the members who participate.
Mr. Kenyo, so you are referring to our customs of the Westminster traditions, correct?
Actually, that's what I'm...
But I am referring you to that section K, where the provisions of that law refers to another county legislation, correct?
Yes, Council.
And to that effect, the county government, the county assembly has legislated the standing orders, correct?
True.
I want to refer you to a particular standing order for your reference and for your reading.
Council, through the chair, Kirinyaga County Assembly standing orders, standing order number 18, the governor shall address a special sitting of a county assembly once every year and may address the county assembly at any other time.
So there is a specific provision and legislation from the County Assembly of Kirinyaga to the effect that she shall.
Chair, I would want to raise a preliminary objection on that issue, because it is very clear to even the House that standing orders are not legislation, and standing orders relate to the conduct of a House, and they regulate members of a House. They cannot regulate the governor.
I think that is well received, but we shall listen to the council as he re-examines, and then it will be upon the committee to make that determination. Thank you.
Chair, I think maybe to guide the committee as and when they sit, the standing orders are domiciled in the Constitution. The county assemblies and legislative assemblies like this one and the National Assembly. They have been given the mandate to legislate on the issues of their operations and the standing orders. So it is domiciled in the Constitution, and we can argue that until the cows come home. So I'm asking you, Mr. Kenyua, is that the county legislation that is being referred in that particular provision?
Yes.
Did the governor comply with that provision?
Through the chair, I want to confirm that the governor did not comply, and not in any time within the period of the 2 years has he complied with the provisions of that standing order.
So is it ridiculous to allege that a public address was granted or issued by the governor from a hospital?
It's an handoff, and like I've said, even the President of the Republic of Kenya addresses the National Assembly and the Senate in the plenary.
You were put to task to explain whether there was public participation, correct?
Yes, Council.
And you answered in affirmative that public participation was done and advertisement was done, correct?
True, and the documents are available to confirm that actually we advertised in 2 papers of national circulation, requiring the residents of Kirinyaga to give their input and participate in this exercise, to which written memorandum were submitted to the county assembly and through the county assembly email. And to go further, a questionnaire was done that was circulated to our people, and bundles of responses are with us in affirmative.
Mr. Witness, is the question of public participation domiciled in your notice of motion for removal of the governor? Is it a question for determination? Yes or no? Is it an issue for interrogation by this committee?
It's actually not registered anywhere in this.
It's not an issue. You are put to task by Council in respect to the question of the employment of one Pauline Waiguru. Yes?
Yes, I was.
Do you have witness to come and testify to that effect?
Yes, we have a witness who attests to that effect, that the recruitment was not worth, since there was a substantive director administration.
What is the designate of that witness that we are calling?
It's the chairperson, County Public Service Board.
I now take you to velocity and velocity. Yes?
Yes.
Read with. I'll be referring to, there are 2 tenders, tender 048, 047 and 046. I'll begin with 046.
This is 046.
Witness, kindly lead this Senate committee as to the distinction between velocity and velocity. Is it one and the same thing?
Through the chair, looking at the document is actually a reference of one and the same thing.
It is your statement that there are 2 companies existing by those chrononyms. That is velocity of VELOCITY and velocity of VELOCTY, correct?
I confirm through the chair.
And I have shown the agreement or the contract that was signed in this tender. Who executed that tender? Is it who executed the agreement? Who is reflected as the party executing the agreement on the face of the agreement? Is velocity with CITY or CTY?
In the face of the agreement is actually VELOCTY.
And from the document submitted by the governor, who bidded for this tender? Is it the velocity with VELCITY or VELCTY? Who tendered?
It's actually velocity, VELOCTY.
So a fictitious company was introduced in the midway, correct?
I confirm.
Finally, on this issue, who was the chair of the tender committee? Was it Pauline or was it Gishira?
I want to confirm that in this tender, the chair was one, Winnie Gishira.
And Winnie Gishira, you want to confirm, is an employee as an advisor in the office of the governor?
With the documents availed, there's actually a person staff who works as an ICT to the office of the governor, and well informed that such person staff are not supposed to participate in any executive or administrative affairs of the county government.
Witness, move with me to the next file of the tender 047, correct?
Yes.
You agree with us that the same confusion and the same two companies participated in that tender, correct?
I confirm through the chair.
Do you also confirm that the same person, Gishira, is also the chair of the meeting of the evaluation committee?
I confirm that the governor, personal ICT advisor, chaired the evaluation and tender committee.
You are put to task to explain when the company was incorporated, yes?
I was.
When was the company incorporated again?
It was incorporated in the year 2017.
Was this an open tender?
It was an open tender.
Would you recap the requirement for participation of a company if the tender is an open tender? Would you recap for this?
I would recap and confirm that the company must have been in operation for a minimum of 3 years. Secondly, it must provide audited account for the last 3 years. And in this case, it's not the scenario. It was registered in 2017, and in the year 2018, it participated in the tender.
Witness, I want to take you to the technical evaluation report by the said evaluation committee, yes? In tender number 046, yes?
Proceed.
I want to refer you to page 9, it's the body of document is annexure 12I, the governor's document, annexure 12I. There's a document titled as technical evaluation. Yes, there's a column of description and the column of the marks. I'm referring to the column of description, correct? In that column of experience, what is indicated there?
It is indicated actually the company has an experience of 5 years.
In the column of audited reports, did the company pass that test?
Indicated as audited account for the last 3 years from the document it passed.
Move with me to the next page where I have underlined and where we have the reasons. Kindly read out this statement.
Following are some of the key explanations why the evaluated bidders were not awarded a maximum score of 100% at the detailed technical evaluation stage.
Why the bidders were not awarded 100%? So they were awarded but not 100%, yes?
Yes.
Read for those three companies, which company and which company, and you read the remarks.
Company number 1, that is bidder number 1, Miss Parity Performance, Company Limited, submitted audited accounts for only 1 year. Work plan provided does not clearly define the timelines, particular understanding of the scope and interpretation of TORs, and no clear documentation.
Next company?
Next company is Miss Ubora System and Solutions Limited. No master's degree for the team lead, relevant experience of less than 10 years, no proof of qualification and competence of key staff for the assignment.
What remarks is entered for velocity?
Velocity, scope and specification will be fully understood during pilot stage and feasibility study phase.
Again?
Scope specification will be understood during pilot or feasibility study phase.
So the reason why the company did not garner 100% marks was given as it was scope and specification understood pilot stage or the feasibility stage. Is it procedurally in view of procurement?
I actually want to confirm that it is unprocedural because you must first of all provide the proof of evidence that you have the expertise and the experience required to perform such a tender.
That's why you are saying that that tender was skewed?
It was skewed in favor of a company.
I want to take you to the question of the Kirinyaga Investment Development Authority, the KIDA, correct? You're with me?
I'm with you, Council.
It is your testimony that there exists a staff and there also exists a board, correct?
As per the act that was passed by the Kirinyaga County Assembly, there exist board members and the staffs of the board.
Have you ever passed any salary issues to the County Assembly regarding to these board members and the staffs?
Actually, it's not the responsibility of the County Assembly to pass matter salary. It's the responsibility of Salary and Remuneration Commission.
Was that advice communicated to any organ of the county government, be it the county executive or the county assembly?
Council, what we have is information or a letter from the County Public Service Board cautioning the inclusion of the staff of the board in the payroll against SRC.
How long has that board been in existence?
I remember.
When was the board incorporated? When were the members recruited? Yes. If you don't know, just say you don't know. It's okay. It's also an answer.
I'm not sure, Chair.
We go to the last limb of the re-examination. I refer the members to a file titled as Travel Documents forwarded to us by the Governor. You have been put to task to explain whether or not you have the evidence in regard to this imprest. Yes?
Yes, I was.
Did you make any attempt to procure this information before you filed the information from the relevant organ?
Yes, we did letters to the chief officer in charge of finances. And in fact, that is the reason as to why we requested the Senate to actually summon the chief officer to give the information in relation to foreign travels.
When you made that requisition for that information from that officer, was it availed to you?
The information was not availed to the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
But you said you have witnesses to testify to the effect that the governor actually went off board the plane when it was just about to take off in her trip to China?
True. Witnesses will be there, some of former staffers in the office of the governor who were to travel with her.
You made an application in the morning before the Senate to be provided with clear copies of the ordinary or regular passport and diplomatic passport, yes?
Yes, I made an application because it's well within our information that the governor holds both diplomatic passport and the ordinary passport. And it's also not clear which passport she travels with in these foreign travels.
You are to use it during this session, correct?
True, Council.
You are put to task to explain whether or not a refund was done, yes?
Yes.
Did you make an application in the morning to have the receipt provided?
Yes.
Was it the receipt dated 17th April 2020?
True.
Yes?
Yes.
That receipt is domiciled in the governor's documents, correct?
It's domiciled.
As an indication of the refund of the imprest, correct?
True.
When were these travels done? Between which month and which month, so that we can be able to compute time?
It's fine. Actually, the travels were done between 18th June 2018
and the last travel?
18th February 2019.
18th February. Assuming that this receipt is indicative of one of those trips and the interest refund. Is that consistent with the provisions of the law relating to surrender and return of the monies?
It's actually against and the self extra benefit that are irregular and illegal.
And this is indicative of that personal benefit, correct?
True.
Was she surcharged for withholding this money by the county executive, the chief officer of the county?
Within my knowledge, the chief officer did not surcharge the governor for such benefits.
Did the governor provide any surrender documents in her evidence?
Not at all.
Is that an admission of guilt?
Actually, it admits that she's guilty of the same.
Chairman.
When were the money refunded?
Chairman, if I may.
When was the money?
Yes.
Some of the conclusions that my learned colleague is asking the witness to make go beyond, with tremendous respect to him, the scope of re-examination. There are fresh allegations being made. We have sat patiently, and he seems to be, taking liberties that do not belong to re-examination. Let him constrain himself. Thank you, Chair.
Kindly, Mr. Ndegwa.
I'm well guided, Chair, and I'm actually winding. Kindly confirm to us that this receipt this money was paid after the motion was domiciled within the Assembly.
True to your words, Council, through the Chair, that receipt was made on 17th of April, and very well informed that the motion was tabled in the Assembly on that 1st of March.
So this is an admission of your allegation, correct?
An admission of my allegation.
Chair, that marks the end of my re-examination in respect to this witness. If the time allows us, we'll call the next witness.
Thank you. I think that is detailed enough. And just before we call in the next witness, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, in the spirit of power sharing and in recognizing women in leadership, you will allow me to invite my vice chair to continue chairing this session. As I participate as a member, I will call upon Honorable Abshiro Alake to continue chairing, and also call upon the Sergeant at Arms, considering the Ministry of Health guidelines and the parliamentary health protocols. I will request the Sergeant at Arms to come and move with speed to sanitize our seats so that we may facilitate the exchange. Thank you. May God bless you. Honorable Alake, karibu sana.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. I think we have quorum. We'll give Chairman a bit of time but we will continue. Now, thank you very much. I'm not a former MCA, so I'm not going to be very lenient, but I've never been a governor either, so I'm not going to be lenient to any side. And given that not much time is left, we're going to move very quickly. So thank you very much. I think with the remaining time, I'm going to allow the honorable members to get clarification from Honorable Kinyua, so that then we close that witness and then we move on to the next witness. Is that acceptable, Council? Good. So I'll have Senator Kwamboka, Senator Pereno, and number 3, Senator Kajwang is going to be the third person, then we'll take the next round. I can see you, Senator. Let's do the 3, and then you'll be the first in the next round. Senator Githiomi. Senator Kwamboka, please go.
Thank you, Chair. As a former MCA from Nairobi County, and now as a senator, during the opening remarks of the Governor Waiguru, she said that the MCAs, you spend the night, the eve night when you are supposed to move the motion of impeachment. Kindly, you spend in the county assembly. Kindly, now that we have this pandemic of the COVID-19 and you never observe those guidelines, kindly tell us the logic behind it.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I want to
point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. Chair, if we could have the round, and then he can respond. It will be.
That's what I was going to say. Mheshimiwa, let them take all. Maybe some things are repeating themselves and can be answered in one go. Senator Pereno.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and thank you all for what we have done so far. Just three clarifications that I would like to confirm from you. At one point, I heard you say. At one point, I heard you say that you got confused about this velocity and velocity, and you were not really sure whether it's one and the same. And at one point, even on clarification, you actually, on cross-examination, you actually say it's one and the same, but on the examination, you said they are two different. Probably, would you tell us what you know about this? Is it one and the same, or from your own, did you do any investigation to even search to know whether this is one and the same company or different? That is one. 2, I see you actually indicated that you requested for documents for velocity or velocity, and they kept giving you different documents. If you requested for this document were given to you, I also see a bundle of documents here, tenders, a very big list of tender documents, and a lot of documents from the executive. How comes you're saying that they were not supplying documents, yet you've been able to tell us at one point they're able to supply documents for you? Because one of the allegations is that you ask for things, you ask for information you're not given. But here you have lots of documents that you also submitted to us that were given. So I need a clarification on that. And then finally, you have indicated that you had indirect public participation and that you received memos and emails. I have not seen a single item you have identified. Maybe you can identify to us whether you have in your motion any of those memos or emails to show that public participation was actually done. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Kajwang.
Madam Chair, I had about 2 questions to the Honourable Member, and they are so precise that I wish you would amend your ruling so that you could just deal with them directly. Number 1, in the motion and the charges, you have noted that the tender for design, development, installation, and commissioning of the hospital management information system
Senator Kajwang, can you speak a bit up, please?
Had been completed by the previous county government. Is there anywhere in this pack where we will get evidence to that fact? Does it exist in the pack?
To the chair.
Senator Kajwang, just finish both of yours. I think because you're the last person, it will be quite fresh. No. Then for this first round, Chair, we'll take 3 and then we'll take, and he's the last person, so you can start with yours when we start.
Okay, fine. I'll abide by your ruling, but it would have been much easier for the honourable member to respond directly. So please just give us the evidence that this system was implemented by the previous administration. And number 2, you have asserted that no work was done. You could also provide us with evidence for us to establish that no work was done. And then thirdly, it's on interest management. If I draw your attention to the PFM regulations for county governments, Regulation 93.6 talks about interest management. And you might not have the benefit of looking at it, but it says, in event an interest holder fails to account, the accounting officer shall take immediate action to recover the amount from the salary of the defaulting officer and with interest at prevailing central bank rates. Is there evidence that the accounting officer attempted to recover the amounts from the governor and the governor either refused? You probably might need to share that with us to help us make a determination. Thank you, Chair.
Mheshimiwa Kinyua, please go for the 3 and then we'll take a next round. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start by the question from Senator Kwaboka, and I'm happy to note that she admits that she was once an MCA, and she can confirm actually the problems that MCAs go through while dealing with these governors. Chair, I want to confirm that we actually spent the night in the Assembly. And Chair, there is a matter that is under active investigation. Some of us being threatened to an extent of assaults attempted to our homes. Therefore, Chair, with that threat and the fact that we know that we are politicians, and when it comes to politics, it's a matter of numbers. We have to make sure that our numbers as MCAs and the prosecutors of this motion is intact. I don't think we offended anybody by spending the night in the Assembly. We spent the night in the various sections of the Assembly, aware that there are the 2 genders, the area where they spend the male, where they spend.
Evidence.
Chair, I know this one is being derived from a photo that was being circulated all over, to which, Chair, I want to say that we spent the night in the Assembly, but that photo, whoever who go by that photo, Chair, I'll challenge him to authenticate the photo. But the confirmation is we spent the night in the Assembly. And we have observed all the Ministry of Health guidelines. Next is Senator Fareno, hope I got the name right, about Velocity and Veropti. Chair, we did our due diligence and we tried to search for this company, Chair. And number 1, Velocity, even if you are, I said initially in my submission that we are living in a digital era. Go to the eCitizen account and enter the C12 or the registration number of this company. Chair, you realize there doesn't exist such a company. The same case applies to Velocity, Chair. But if you go and do further research, you see Velocity is a multinational company that deals with matters installation of softwares. So I want to confirm that we actually did the search online and this company does not exist. Chair, request for document. I want to say that it has been a challenge when we seek for this document from the executive. However, there was one officer within the county of Goodwill who gave us the document on the evaluation of this tender. And in line with that, Chair, we also got a copy of the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, a copy of a report that the executive was supposed to respond on matters, tenders, some of them that we are questioning. And Chair, given an opportunity, I want to confirm that even the public PPRA also challenges the authenticity of this company. Chair, this is a document that is available for the senators perusal to confirm the same. I talked about the indirect way of doing the public participation. In that I meant there are various platforms and ways in which you can conduct public participation. In our ordinary ways, when we have ordinary times like when there was no COVID-19, we used to call for public forums. And having it in mind that we were prosecuting this motion in an era of the challenge of the COVID-19, we devised other means. And Chair, we are all aware and conversant of the fact that we are holding our meetings online. They are the online channels, the like of Zoom, that we operate our meeting. We gave the governor the opportunity to go online and have an opportunity for fair hearing. Chair, in line with the public participation, there is an advert that we learn in our daily news papers of national circulation, requiring our people to submit written memoranda. At the same time, notifying them that there will be questionnaires that will be circulated. Chair, these are bundles and bundles of responses that can be availed, and at the same time, the advert, it's obvious that it's available, and some of these are available in our archives.
Chair, on that one, I didn't ask whether they are available. I was asking whether it is part of the evidence that we have before the Senate.
Mheshimiwa, can you just answer that directly, please?
I want to be very precise on that. Chair, the procedure of doing a motion for removal, you first of all table the motion itself, then you invite the members of public after doing the motion. Therefore, the issue of public participation is not captured anywhere in the motion. However, it is upon us, or upon me as the mover of the motion, to provide evidence that actually the public participation was conducted by the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
Senator Pareno, are you satisfied with that, or do we have a follow-up question before we go to Senator?
I don't know why he's not just telling us that either he has the evidence here or not. It's as simple as that.
Chair, the advert is available. The questionnaire there are the bundles that may be availed at a convenient time provided. May I proceed to the question from the senator from Homa Bay? Chair, on completion of this tender for velocity installation of the software for the hospital, Chair, I want to confirm that the next witness that is to come to the floor is the first CC Health and Medical Services in Kirinyaga County who reside out of frustration. And Chair, the CC will be better positioned to confirm that actually this system had been installed when she took over the office of the CC Health and Medical Services. That's the much I can say on that. And it is in connection with that, Chair, that actually a system was in place. I asked myself a simple question. If the system was in place, which other system are you advertising for works to be done? That will be my simple explanation on the same. Matters impressed, Chair, I said it was a challenge to us when we do write to the Chief of Staff and the CEC to produce especially the cash book, Chair, which actually bears most of these interest that are accrued and unaccounted for. But remember, Chair, in the cash book will be attached a voucher that will confirm either this money was, an expenditure was incurred or not, or this money was picked up or not. Therefore, Chair, I would request the Senator for Homa Bay, please, at the point whereby the Chief Officer for Finance will be invited to give witnesses, let him answer this question, whether he made an attempt to recover the interest or not. And in the event he made an attempt, why was it not executed? Or did the governor approve it or disapprove it? We can get better answers from that other witness.
Senator Kajwang, is that your question?
Yes, Chair, I think he's deferred some of the questions to the next witness, so we can deal with it at that point.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll take the next round of questions from the senators. I know Senator Beth Mugo has sent in her question. I will ask her to. Senator Beth, would you like to ask your question directly, and then we'll take from the floor here? Are you able to ask directly, Senator Mugo?
No, it's okay. I sent my question concerning whether concerning the health sector, and whether the connection of the governor with the day running of the health sector, since there was the Minister for Health, the county Minister for Health. That was one part, and then there was the second part. You have the question there.
Okay, we'll ask it on your behalf. Let me then give Senator Githyomi, and then I'll repeat Senator Beth Mugo's question directly as she had texted it in. Senator Githyomi?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Chair, my questions are fairly simple, but I want them answered. One about this vehicle that was purchased by the county government, the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. Did the county assembly ultimately allow the purchase or approve the purchase of this vehicle? You had some few problems between the county government and the assembly. We heard about that. The other simple question is, there is a contract between the Ministry of Transport and various motor vehicle companies. They have even given the prices such that county governments, whenever they want to buy vehicles, they will go direct to the Ministry of Transport at the industrial area, and they will be directed who sells what the vehicles that they want and the cost. Is the county assembly aware of this? And if they are aware of this, why was it a big issue buying this one vehicle? Because I'm aware several county assemblies are buying various vehicles. For example, my county assembly, we bought 15 vehicles at a go and tractors. And there wasn't much of questioning how they are being bought, because they went straight to the Minister of Public Works. They got the prices and the type of vehicles they wanted to buy and the companies which can sell the vehicles. Is the county assembly aware of this? And if they are aware, why was it a big issue?
Thank you, Senator. Senator Malala, Chairman.
Thank you, Chair. Just on the same question on the purchase of motor vehicles, I want to ask Honorable David, you are alive of the fact that supplementary budgets are passed by county assembly, sometimes as a way of ratifying expenditure done by the executive. And if so, do you have any knowledge in the Public Finance Management Act that requires the county assembly to pass the supplementary budget ratifying expenditure of the executive? And if so, you knew about the misappropriation of monies to purchase the said motor vehicles, and yet you went ahead to pass the supplementary budget. Does this mean that you also participated in a process that is not lawful?
Thank you, Senator Malala. I'll take one more and then we'll do another round so that then the witness doesn't get overwhelmed with the questions. Senator Anwar Lamu.
Okay, thank you so much.
Please.
Thank you so much, Chair. Through witness number one, Honorable David, maybe you will make a clarification on this. Is he aware of a lady known as Pauline Kamau? What's her position in the current government, county government? And in alignment to that, there's a tender number CGK /TR and PW /02
01/2017 to 2018. That's tender number 1. Tender number 2 is CGK
Excuse me, I'm ready now.
/02/039 2017-2018. And lastly is tender number CGK M0E OT 036 2017-2018. My question will be, is there any supporting document that is aligned to Pauline Njoroge or to the governor and Waiguru? Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Answer those 3, then we can take the next round.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start by the question from Senator for Nyandarua, Honorable Senator Githiomi. Chair, the question on the purchase of this vehicle, and I want to join this question with the question asked by Senator for Kakamega, Honorable Marara, is about the same thing. Matters budget is the county assembly that passed the budget, but the budget originates from the executive. Chair, the county government of Kirinyaga submitted the budget to the county assembly with the vote on purchase of vehicle as a vote under recurrent. As a vote under development. Therefore, at the point when the requisition for the purchase was being prosecuted, the Controller of Budget rejected the requisition on the ground that purchase of vehicle is recurrent in nature. It's not development. Therefore, the county government of Kirinyaga was required to go back to Kirinyaga and initiate a supplementary budget in which the money will be relocated from development to recurrent. This was in the month of October, Chair. The supplementary budget that was brought to Kirinyaga County Assembly was submitted in the month of March the following year. But other than expediting on the process of budgeting, all waiting until the supplementary budget is finished by the County Assembly of Kirinyaga, the county government of Kirinyaga went ahead to secure a facility with a bank. And there comes our complaint or our allegation, the fact that the governor undermines the authority of the County Assembly. It's required by the County Government Act that any borrowing by the county government must be sanctioned, approved by the County Assembly, which did not happen. Note, in this bank guarantee or facility that was secured with the KCB Bank, the bank did not commit itself in signing or stamping the application. What security did they offer? And this brings out the reason as to why this issue arose. There is a retention account for contractors. Once a contractor does certain work, there is a fee that is deducted from the payment, and it's deposited in an account referred to as the retention for contractors account, which is run by the county government. It reached a point when the contractors started seeking for payment, and at that point, this money has already been committed as a security to a loan or to a facility. So the question is, isn't this an irregularity? Isn't this an illegality? Isn't this not undermining the authority of the County Assembly? So we are not questioning the fact that the county budgeted or the County Assembly budgeted for money for this vehicle and it was not done or it was done. The question is the process and undermining the authority of the County Assembly. We're informed of the provisions of the County Government Act and PFMA. Hope I've answered that area of the purchase of vehicle. Next, Chair, I've added the Senator for Nyandarua and the Senator for Kakamega. Next is Ramu Senator, the question about Pauline.
Chair, before the Lamu Senator, there's a question that you did not answer. And this question was about the contract between the Minister of Public Works, or rather Transport, the contract they have with the various motor vehicle companies. And that governors normally go to the Ministry of Transport at the industrial area, and they're given the companies that are selling the vehicles. So they go to them directly to purchase because there's an agreement. So they don't need to advertise for the purchase. I wanted you to answer that.
Chair, I don't dispute that. I'm arrived to the fact that there is such an agreement, a framework agreement between the government of Kenya and the various provider of that service. And I'm aware, in fact, in the previous, in the year 2017-2018, the county government of Kirinyaga purchased a fleet of vehicles via such an agreement, of which we don't charge because it was done within the provision of law and that framework. So I don't dispute that. Chair, I proceed to the Senator Forum, and he's asking me about Pauline Kamau. Chair, you may not understand why the name Pauline Kamau is featuring in the whole of this motion. Chair, I want to bring to your attention that when Governor Waiguru assumed office in the month of September 2017, her PA designate, the person who was being paid by the county government of Kirinyaga as the personal assistant, is one Pauline Kamau. Chair, at some point, without any knowledge or without information as to why, the governor decided that my PA would have to be promoted from a personal assistant to a director administration. That's the question we don't understand. But we realize after Pauline is appointed as the director administration, we're aware that at the point of her appointment, there was a substantive director for administration. And Chair, I want to bring to the attention of this House why some of these county governments are having bloated wage bill. Is the fact that there is a lot of duplication. You realize when a governor comes in office, find there is a director procurement, you redeploy that director and you employ another director. That means you have two officers doing the same function. In Kirinyaga, we have several scenarios. Director budgeting, another director was employed. This is director administration, and there is another. And this deployment, once the director is deployed, you are not given the duties. You are just told to go and report in a certain ministry, and no duties are allocated to you. Therefore, majority of them are just coming to the office, doing nothing, moving up and down. So, Chair, I narrow down still to Pauline. Pauline is recruited as director administration. Go back to her file, the chairperson, County Public Service Board that recruits, complains to the assembly that I'm coerced to recruit somebody who is not qualified and at the same time the office is occupied. He submitted the document to us. The requirement for one to be recruited as a director, you must hold a minimum of a first degree from a recognized university. What does Pauline provide? He just provide a result slip from Nyeri Polytechnic, indicating that she did a diploma from Nyeri Polytechnic way back 10-20 years ago. No certificate from NEC, no secondary school certificate, nothing other than a KRA certificate. Chair. Why wouldn't you find it in out of wonder that this person, a position that does not exist, person who is not qualified, recruited as director administration, and from there onwards, she automatically becomes the chairperson of majority of the tender committees in the county. So that is what we are questioning. And that's why the governor, this is your PA, you push for appointment as director administration, she sits in all the committees. You can connect. Why? Basically, that would be my explanation concerning Pauline and the sitting various tenders.
Fantastic. Honorable members, I think we need to move. Time is really not on our side. Very quickly, Honorable Mpaye, but I think Honorable Beth Mugo says she's ready now.
Yeah, yes, I am, and I'm sorry, my battery had died for a while, so, but now I'm ready.
Yes, please go ahead.
I have a question on procurement and on health. I'm asking, were the accounting officers of procuring entities, tender evaluation committees, and person responsible for procurement of procuring entities investigated prior to allegations against the governor? And 2, was the county executive committee member for health investigated or questioned prior to allegations being made against the governor? And were other methods of resolving issues surrounding this impeachment, especially within the health sector, attempted by the county executive committee's member for health prior to the impeachment motion against the governor, particularly with respect to implementing legislation and managing and coordinating functions of the relevant county department? I'm asking because there are procedures and policies of running different departments of a government. And I would think that is the first stop before even going to the governor. Was any of those taken? I mean, did you do any of those?
Thank you very much, Senator. I think those are very direct, Honorable Kinyua. You're going to answer, but let me just take one from Honorable Mpaye Kajiado.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is on tender number CGK MOW OT038 2017 to 2018. And down the paragraph, and I will read, it says, in total disregard of conflict of interest and in furtherance of a corruption and joint criminal enterprise overseen by the governor. I want to ask my brother here, how did they arrive at the name joint criminal enterprise? Concerning that, if a person is to be named a criminal, he must have gone through a court of law. The question is, have they ever taken this enterprise to court? And if yes, what was the verdict? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Members. Honorable Kinyua, please, very briefly.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start by the senator from one of the question from one of our great mother of this nation, Honorable Betty Mogo, on accounting and investigation.
Honorable Kinyua, speak a bit loudly so she can hear, because she's behind you. So a bit more.
Thank you, Chair. I want to respond to the question from Honorable Senator Betty Mogo and on investigation. Chair, I want to first of all say that the county assemblies do not have powers to investigate. County assemblies have powers to oversight, which basically means looking at the document and overseeing the whole of that process. And Chair, the main problem and the reason as to why this issue reached to a level of impeachment, because I've heard the senator ask basically what she wanted to know, was it the last option? Chair, I want to say that this was the last option. We have summoned CECs to our assembly, and some of them have failed to appear in the assembly, and they are saying to us that they have direct instruction from the governor not to come to the assembly. The same CECs. The CEC cannot append a signature to a letter that is transmitted to the assembly without the approval of the governor. Chair, the county secretary is on record while interrogating him in the assembly, confirming that actually they get instructions from the governor verbally. Without unrecorded statement, what can you deduce that from a county secretary, a senior officer who oversees the public servant? Therefore, we felt that this was the last resort, and some of us, we have made attempts to go to the governor's office in person. Some of us, we are left there just watching her leaving and issuing insult to us. So I want to say that it was the last resort for us, and we had no other option. The CC held, actually the only CC held who has been in office in Kirinyaga County resigned and will actually be appearing on this desk, and Senator Mugo will get a better clarification from her. Next is Senator for Kajiado. Disregard of conflict of interest. Chair, once again, investigation is a function of DCI and EACC. And Chair, I want to confirm to this House that as we are speaking, some of these issues are being investigated by EACC, and some officers in the county government of Kirinyaga have been summoned by EACC to give evidence and information. Therefore, investigations are ongoing. And conflict of interest, Chair, how can you prove to us that you are the Chief Officer Finance?
Point of order.
Yes, what's your point of order?
Chair, I think in the interest of time, we are taking a lot of time getting the response from the Honorable MCA, considering that we had 3 hours, 30 minutes for the entire case. Is it possible then we abide by your earlier ruling on the allocation of time per section so that we move? We have 2 more witnesses to handle, and we are looking at the time. It's already 5:30. Is it possible to shorten your responses so that we move on?
Actually, this would be your last response. Please keep it very brief so that we can move on.
Chair, I'll be very brief. Okay. And my point was on conflict of interest, that we have the Chief Officer Finance, who is Mogondadi, Eva Trading, a company that secure majority of the tenders in Kirinyaga County government, owned by a brother to Mogo. The shareholders are sisters, brothers, and children to the same family. Therefore, Madam Chair, I will say that automatically there is conflict of interest, and this is matter under investigation.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Kinyua. Now your witness, you can step down, and we can move on to the next one. Thank you very much.
Chair, with a lot of respect, will you allow me to make a closing remark?
Now, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. The reason as to why I've asked this opportunity is the fact that I'm a member of Kirinyaga County Assembly and not an outsider. I was elected to conduct certain functions which are legally provided and constitutional. However, Chair, I want to request the honorable senators not to look at this matter on the face value. Let's scrutinize this document in details, Chair, and make sure that...
What's your point of order, Senator Mazai?
Kindly restrict the witness from addressing issues that the defense counsel of Waiguru will not have an opportunity to respond to. Because these are closing remarks, I thought it was just fair that once he has given evidence, that's more than enough. I think we have given them enough latitude on that aspect.
Honorable Kinyua, I indulge you because I thought, you would keep to the subject matter, maybe to conclude, to just say that you got an opportunity, but please keep it. Then you have got 1 minute left. Do not go into details. This committee is seized of everything. We have volumes of documents. We are going to make sure that justice is served. So please keep it. And you've had a lot of opportunity to actually talk your mind, even with the questions that were asked. So keep it short and let's conclude this.
Chair, I'll conclude in 30 minutes. Okay. I would say that 30 seconds, sorry. Let justice be done and be seen to be done to the resident of Kirinyaga, since we are the representative and we are just conducting our oversight mandate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you for taking the stand. Let's have the next witness, and I'd like to repeat again, let's go back to the timings. We're going to be very strict with timings now. Examination in chief, 15 minutes. We're not going to go beyond that now. Then we'll have the cross-examination, 10 minutes. Very strict now. And then perhaps the re-examination, 5 minutes. Please, Council, keep to that.
Thank you, Chair.
And please ask the witnesses also to be very concise when it comes to their responses, please.
I'm well guided, Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to call our next witness. Our next witness is a doctor, Dr. Gor Godi Kirit Kurba. She has filed her evidence. It is at the back of the big volume. Right at the back. Right at the back.
by first and foremost thanking the African Union and all the African nations for their support and their belief in Kenya being able to advocate the African cause, the cause of Pan-Africanism, the cause of peace, the cause of global solidarity, the call to multilateralism. Kenya's story is one that believes and trusts that together we are stronger. One that believes that through democracy, through respect for human life, and through unity, more can be achieved than individually. We thank the African continent for supporting us in our bid. And we thank all our friends across the world who have joined us and supported us. Today is a day for me personally, on my own behalf and on behalf of the government and the people of Kenya, to assure you that a vote for Kenya is a vote for peace. A vote for Kenya is a vote for global solidarity. A vote for Kenya is a vote for multilateralism. A vote for Kenya is that even the smallest voice shall be heard as the largest and most powerful voice. Let's work together. Let's build global harmony. Let's move forward in our march for peace. Let's move forward in our march for the sustainable use of the resources that our continent, our globe, is endowed with. And let's move forward and ensure that no one is left behind.